So I'm Jacqueline Guevara, for those of you who don't know me. I'm the executive director of the Joshua Tree National Park Association, and it's a nonprofit incorporated in 1962 to assist with, I have to read this, preservation, education, historical, and scientific programs for the benefit of Joshua Tree National Park and its visitors. I want all my staff and all the Park Service staff, please wave. Here we are. You guys get on board. Thank you. Woo! Oh, and board members. Where are my board members? Thank you for coming out. Woo! All right. So we support the park through operations of the bookstores. That's water, I promise. Anyway, the bookstores at our 4.5 visitor centers, that's what I call. We have a little one at Indian Cove. We also run the Desert Institute and other programs and ceremonies like the one you're attending today. But I want to get serious for a moment. I want to open the actual ceremony by acknowledging the sacredness of this oasis and the long history of the Serrano and Chemehuevi peoples with this sacred place, as well as the ongoing relationship with indigenous communities in our desert lands. We are guests here, and we want to thank the tribes and the land itself for hosting us today. And also, of course, 29 Palms Inn for hosting and sponsoring this event and for moving it off the lawn. We were going to be in the sun. Thank you, Kat. This is why you're getting this award. Okay. So what is this event? It's to celebrate our friend and colleague, Pat Flanagan. I'm gonna tell my secret. Okay, Pat, when I first met you, I used to call you Flanagan all the time. Accidentally. Oh, good. Okay, good. So everyone said, are you going to say that out loud one day? There, I just did. So anyway, we're here in the spirit of Minerva Hoyt. She was a South Pasadena resident, and her persistent campaign to preserve the deserts of Southern California, or why we're here today, basically, she persuaded President Franklin Roosevelt and Congress at the time to create Joshua Tree National Monument in 1936, and there are some of us who are old enough to still call it the monument all the time. To say she was a pioneer and an advocate for the desert and women is an understatement. Her contribution to the preservation of the desert we all love is immeasurable. And so the purpose and spirit of this award is to help honor her and recognize individual or organizations that have also made notable achievements in the areas of leadership, yeah, check, protection, check, preservation, check, research, double check, education, check, and stewardship, leading to a significant and lasting contribution on behalf of the deserts of California. I absolutely do not have time to list everything this amazing woman has done, but I'm sure that she will tell us a little bit of that, and some other folks will speak as well. Past recipients of this award, and if you're here, please raise your hand. Past recipients are Susan Lucky Riley. Are you here? If she's here, she's not going to raise her hand. Larry Sharpede and his late wife Donna. Dave Myers and the Wilderness Conservancy. John Wolmuth and the Coachella Valley Association of Governments. Mark Jorgensen, Superintendent of Anza Borrego Desert State Park, U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, the Owens Valley Committee, Eldon E. Hughes, Stephen Ruth, I know you're here. Yay! And I see Mr. D. Zeller. He's here. And his beautiful wife, Betty. Terry Weiner and the Desert Protective Council. No?
Representing her.
Representing her. Yay! Okay, these two are here. Where's Nancy? Nancy Carl. Ah, she's all going on. And Cindy Zacks, I saw her sneak in. Yay! And I just want to acknowledge some other folks as well. I'm going to do this quickly because it's hot, but please, if you hear your organization or your name called out, please wave to the people. Wave and smile, wave and smile. Mr. Frank Lucchino, City Manager, 29 Palms. Mayor MacArthur Wright, 29 Palms. Do we have Mr. Randy Biner here?
Oh, yes.
Yay! City Manager of Rancho Mirage. Thank you for coming up today. Kyle Sullivan and Mike Ahrens with the Bureau of Land Management. Yay! Linda Castro, California Wilderness Coalition, or CalWild. There she is in the back. She's back. Fraser Haney and Mariana McGuire, Conservation Lands Foundation. We have representatives from the base, Marine Corps, that one, McCaxey. Hi! Is Dawn here from the MAC? Dawn from the MAC. She was going to come. Anyway, we got several people from the MAC. Thank you, MAC. Woo! Yay! Including Pat. Joshua Basin Water District. Becca. Woo! Friends of Big Morongo Canyon Preserve. Yay! I should have turned this into a contest to see who could be the loudest. Is anyone here from MBCA? Morongo Basin Conservation? Woo! Okay. I saw a lot of people from this place. Who's here from MDLT? Make some noise. Mojave Desert Land Trust. Woo! Sky's the limit? No?
Oh, she might.
Oh, yay! Okay. MPCA? No? Oh, fine. I'm going to call then the next person, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, on MPCA for not showing up today. Thank you for coming. We have the Native Americans Lands Conservancy. Yucca Valley Chamber of Commerce. Teddy, I know you're here. 29 Palms Historical Society. Woo! Make some noise back there. We have President Jeff Cummings, Copper Mountain College. Yay! We have Mr. Tom O'Kee, Joshua Tree Astronomy Arts Theater, and several other things. Okay, we have Marge Doyle is in the house. Hello. We have Peter Karlstrom from Congressman Raul Ruiz's office. Came up today. We have Don Rao and Dakota Higgins from Congressman Paul Cook's office. Who did I miss? Did I miss any groups? I think I got everyone in the room. And last but not least, Mr. Mark Lundquist, San Bernardino County Supervisor James Garden. Come on up, Mark. Mark will be presenting.
And we have Ashley Smith and Vicki Wink from the Joshua Tree National Park Council for the Arts.
Well, there it is. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Here's Mark. Thank you. Thank you. Mark's here. Pat, come on up. Mark's going to take care of presenting you with your award.
Scared.
Yeah, right.
I had a few things to say. I've got about 5 pages here. Oh, wait a minute. That's my to-do list. I just want to say a few words about Pat, the beginning of how I met her. When I became the field rep for James Ramos, based out of Joshua Tree, Pat came in one day and she wanted to talk about an impending solar project. I said, okay, let's talk.
Can't hear you.
Okay. She wanted to talk about an impending solar project in Joshua Tree. And I thought, oh, here we go. Well, the first thing she said was, if I'm going to say anything wrong, just please send me to the corner. I haven't had to use that option yet. It's getting close, okay. Pat and I share a ride just about twice a month up to Lucerne Valley, which is now one of my areas that we've taken over besides the Morongo Basin. Pat is a great resource for the information. We have a lot of fun driving up there and back, and I look forward to doing that for many years. One of her favorite stops is the Lucerne Valley Market, which is a very eclectic old-time market. It's the only one in town. It's just about got everything. It's like the old general store that you guys would imagine way back in the 50s and 60s. It hasn't changed a bit, but they carry about everything. And she always picks up some of her favorite beverage, which is only sold through that store. Very rare price.
Oh, hey!
There's the favorite beverage.
Hey!
19 crimes hard shark, but actually have 7 different varieties.
Then we'll get that back to you.
Yeah, you want to drop it. And an occasional deli sandwich. She likes the sandwiches up there. So Pat has been an inspiration to me. She taught me a lot. I never knew there was so much to know about dirt. And she's of soil, I'm sorry. She's a lady that taught me. We've become good friends. We have a great time going up there and back. And I'm very proud at this point. I'm very proud of her for this award, to award her the 14th Annual Minerva Hoyt Conservation Award. So I can get it out of the bag. But that's not all.
Oh. But
Sarah, would you come up here, please? We have a goodie bag for you.
A goodie bag.
We have a goodie bag.
I love goodie bags.
Okay. Now I want to point out that this is part of the gift. This bag is made out of recycled plastic bottles.
Yes.
Okay? All right. So here is the first.
Okay, no, wait a minute. Okay, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. This is from Supervisor Ramos.
Well.
And here's another plaque. You're going to have to clear out some wall space and
I'm
put an
saying.
addition
Let's
on
see
it.
it, Pat.
You want to read it?
Certificate of Recognition awarded to Pat Flanagan, presented by Supervisor James Ramos, San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors. Supervisor James Ramos of the County of San Bernardino, State of California, is hereby congratulate you for receiving the 14th Annual Minerva Hoyt California Desert Conservation Award. We appreciate your hard work and dedication.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
And I noticed it's a little bit bigger than the park one.
So wait a minute, there's people, do you want to?
Oh, there's a case.
Oh,
They're on both sides.
You're gonna name your arms.
Beth.
This way.
we got one more.
Oh.
Right.
Now, when Pat started talking about this subject quite a while ago, I just kind of glazed over. I didn't pay much attention to it.
What is the subject?
Finally, she can wiggle her way into your brain. And you go home citing the information she gave you, whether you want to or not. But in this case, it was a good thing. She's been talking about PM10. Do you all know what PM10 is?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you do? Well, I didn't know what it was. I do now. It's part of the dirt process, right? Okay. Well, congratulations. You are now the proud owner
Aha!
of a Purple Air Monitor.
Oh my God! Yes! Absolutely!
PM is not included, PM10.
No, PM10 comes to me uninvited.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to sort of unwelcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. And Eric, where are you, Eric?
Eric. There.
Where?
That Eric.
I think he volunteered to install it for you.
Oh.
He doesn't know it yet.
I'll gladly do it.
Yay.
Okay.
And I think that's it. We're out of presents.
For now.
And if you
But
got,
what great presents!
Right.
My own Purple Air.
we'll let you talk, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, well. The first recipient of this award was Susan Lucky Riley. The evening before she was to come down and receive her award, she calls me up. And she says, Pat, I'd like you to listen to what I have to say. So she reads it to me, and of course it was very eloquent. And I said, Susan, is that what you really want to say? And she said, no. So Susan spent the morning telling people that they needed to get solar on their roof. With her passing was a very hefty request to Copper Mountain College to encourage that. Susan, next year will be the 50th anniversary of the Morongo Basin Conservation Association, and that's how Susan got started fighting against transmission lines down the Morongo Basin. We're still fighting, and this time it's not transmission lines, it's solar in the desert, and that's part of the reason why I'm here. And it's going to be a long fight, but hey, everybody, join us. I want to say there are people who, oh, you know what? Chuck Bell is here from Levita.
Hey.
And Ted Stimple from Newberry Springs. Couldn't get along without them. So, one of the reasons that I came to Joshua Tree and to 29 Palms was because in San Diego I had positions of pretty high level education with organizations that don't want you to get mixed up in politics. But I had some things that I felt needed doing, so when I was ready to retire, I came out here because of family and because I could go before the Board of Supervisors and have my say, which I did. And I want to say one of the biggest things to help me get information that has been useful throughout my career here, and that started in 2002, was being appointed to the General Plan Advisory Committee for 29 Palms. I don't think I would have known anything, except for how that works and how government works. So at the same time, I was working with the Desert Protective Council, Janet Anderson and Terry Weiner, and they supported the Salton Basin Living Laboratory, and you can all look at it when it's up here. It's an educational program which has been vetted to be the best, and it's for 4th to 6th graders, and it teaches them how to look at the ecology of the area where they live. So instead of their textbooks which teach them ecology, oh, we'll start in the tundra, then we'll move down to the desert, and then we'll be in the forest. This is holistic, and it looks at, has an ecosystem map in it, and it looks at structure and function. So I myself am primed. Why do I get purple air? I live on a sand transport path that begins in Joshua Tree and actually ends in Blythe. And after the installation of Cascade Solar, Lear Solar, and the one on Indian Trail, my experience with dust went like that. And I was in a position to start opening my mouth on the subject. It is unhealthy. It is what's called a criteria pollutant by both the EPA and the state, which means it has to be regulated. Another cohort from Daggett, who has a purple air monitor, was reading PM 2.5. How far down into your lungs that gets? Over 400 last week. We're in trouble. He is just down from a 22-acre solar site. So we happen to live in a desert in which the areas that are the best for solar are on 1% or less basins. Those 1% or less basins, dust and sand. That's the result of our Ice Age heritage. When the water went away from the dry lake and became dry lakes, the dust moves. Every time the water would come back or leave or whatever, the dust moves. So that's what's on that. And that's why when you disturb the vegetation, which is creosote, how rare is creosote? How endangered is creosote? And galleta grass. How rare is galleta grass? We do not protect function. Am I saying what I need to say, I think?
That's your...
This is why, okay, two things. First of all, so that these didn't fall down, we went and picked a rock up outside. It's still a little warm, but we're going to be looking at it. This looks pretty much like a hand tool to me. So it's not going back out on the dirt.
Soil.
Touch it.
Look at that. Soil.
Soil, right, soil. I meet people every weekend from around the world. And I always ask them, when you came to the desert, did you think nothing was out here? And I get two kinds of responses. One goes, yeah, or yeah. And the other goes, I've been here for a few days, I don't believe that anymore. So struck me some time ago that I needed to look at our deserts and to look at the numbers and why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's in my whole body. It can't get it, doesn't go anywhere. So, and everybody can pick one of these up who doesn't have one. It's called Desert by the Numbers. If you have an organization that would like to distribute them, I give the PDF to you, just ask. But it turns out the deserts of California, Great Basin, Death Valley National Park, the Mojave Desert, the Colorado, Sonoran Desert down below, their land is 28% of the state of California. Those areas, those desert areas, have 38% of the native plants in California. California has a most wrinkled topography, so its geology and the time frame and the different kinds of soils make it a hotspot on the planet, not just the nation. So this is important. The number's growing, 2,450 species of plants in the deserts of California. And I also have, you want to know native fish? 16. Native reptiles, who loves snakes? Come on. 56. Birds, 425. You know, there you go. Oh, bats. 20. But I was just going to leave out the number of insects. You can assume that, whoa. Till I went to a presentation by a young man who was getting his doctorate working on native pollinating bees in Joshua Tree National Park. 500 to 600 species of native pollinating bees in Joshua Tree. Doesn't mean they're only in Joshua Tree, but they're in there. I recently heard a USGS on YouTube in which the gentleman's an entomologist. He was talking about native pollinating bees. North America has 4,000 species. These are not honeybees. These bees are harder to see. They nest in the ground. They nest in, empty stems and all kinds of places. And of the 4,000 in North America, 2,000 are in California. Oh, wow. So just believe that you are in a place worth protecting. Right? Yeah. Right. Ready for more, I need to say. That's why we do it. All of us.
That's it.
I'm still the educator, okay? So, everybody take one. Touch the light. Take a look at the curriculum. And thank you, everybody, for coming. Some of you came from London.
There's more. But there's more. Wait a minute. There's more.
More?
More.
I can have more?
You can have more. Stay right there. There's more.
Okay.
Don't leave yet. There is more.
Yeah, thank you.
More.
More. So I'm in a quandary right now because the uniform manual for the National Park Service dictates that you wear a hat when you're outside. And I don't know if I'm inside or outside right now. Am I inside?
Inside.
Okay, we're gonna go with the hat then.
No, you're outside.
I'm outside. I'm torn. I don't know what to do.
It's outside. See,
Okay,
it's
okay.
the hat.
Okay, here we go.
Inside here.
Okay. So Joshua Tree is a very lucky park in that it is loved every year by now 3 million people.
Yeah.
But we are also loved a lot by our congressional delegation. It is so great to work for a park that has 2 representatives that actually love that park. So we are honored today to actually have 2 folks representing our 2 congressmen up here to actually share that love with you right now. So Don Rowe, representing Lieutenant Colonel Paul Cook from the mighty 8th, come on up.
It's an honor to be here on behalf of Congressman Cook, who is in session today. And I asked Paul, I said, I'm going to go do this with Pat. What do you think describes Pat and her service to our entire Morongo Basin, not just the park? And he said, local, county, state, and federal. She's active and involved. That makes a difference. And the 3 words that he used to describe her, 2 of which are on Supervisor Ramos's, dedicated and hardworking, but he added passion. And that's really what makes the difference and makes the entire Morongo Basin as well as the park so much nicer. And thanks for all that you do in your effort.
Thank you.
What does it say? That's the
What
question.
does it say?
In special recognition as the recipient of the 14th Annual Minerva Hoyt Award, Pat Flanagan. So we're also lucky today to have Peter Karlstrom up in the park. He's representing Dr. Ruiz from the mighty 36th District down in the Coachella Valley. Come on up, Peter.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Pat. It's wonderful to meet you. My name is Peter Karlstrom. I'm a field representative with Congressman Ruiz. I'm far away from home right now, but our district is due south from here. And it just, I got to see a lot of the park. Thank you to David for that today. And a lot of the land that you fight so hard to protect. I have a certificate from Congressman Ruiz. It's a certificate of congressional recognition, and it is presented to Pat Flanagan in honor of being recognized as the recipient of the 2017 Minerva Hoyt California Desert Conservation Award. On behalf of California's 36th Congressional District, thank you for your extensive advocacy efforts and commitment to the preservation and conservation of the California desert.
Thank you. I want to thank Congressman Ruiz for holding the DRECP
Yes.
meeting.
Thank you for voting.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
There's
Pat,
more.
it's just getting better and better. Because not only do I have my congressional delegation here, I've got my mayor. Mayor Mac, right?
Yeah.
Would you come on down?
So, I've only met you at city council meetings, and listening to you speak and hearing about you today explains a whole lot. When she speaks at the city council, it's an education lesson. We're going to get taught something. So, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
And then just so I can teach some things about living out in the desert, you just got to remember two things. First, drink a lot of water.
Yes.
And second, slow is smooth is fast. So you got to move slow. All right. Certificate of Achievement awarded to Pat Flanagan. The City of 29 Palm commends you for receiving the 2017 Minerva Hoyt California Desert Conservation Award. We hereby commend and recognize your efforts to preserve the desert and promote wise land use, which cover a variety of conservation problems, air quality, dust control, sand transport corridors, negative impacts of erosion, land use planning, wildlife corridors, and basic species of clean water rights. May 8, 2018.
I think Mac's married, so just...
Well, but that's okay, right? That was gratitude.
And then Assemblyman Eduardo Garcia could not be here, but we have a certificate that Jackie will be presenting on his behalf.
Look how big this one is.
Wow.
I'm saying. So this says, Certificate of Recognition presented to Pat Flanagan in honor of Minerva Hoyt California Desert Conservation Award. On behalf of the California State Assembly, I, Assemblymember Eduardo Garcia, congratulate you on receiving the Minerva Hoyt California Desert Conservation Award. I commend your hard work and dedication to protecting our environment. Best wishes on your continued success.
Thank you.
And I learned this morning there is another certificate of appreciation from Assemblymember May's office,
Yes.
which will be forthcoming.
Okay.
All right, so congratulations.
So when I finish, we're going to make a donation to build a new wall in Pat's house. So we can put all of these awards up on it. Okay, I have a note today from Kim Bishop. Kim Bishop is the great-granddaughter of Minerva Hoyt. I'm very sorry that I will not be attending due to health reasons. Please congratulate Pat Flanagan on my behalf. My great-great-grandmother, Minerva Hoyt, would have been extremely proud. and
Kew Gardens in English.
I am proud to say that the Pasadena Garden Club that she was a member of will actually be sponsoring a student this year that's going to be working at the college and at the park as well.
That's
So,
right.
so her memory lives on. So I get to close. I don't know why I got this lucky thing, but I get to close. Now I know you guys wanted to sit here for a little bit longer because it's nice and warm, so let's do that. I'm a bureaucrat. You know, my job is to manage your public lands and try to take care of them and try to make sure that you have a good time enjoying them. I cannot be the passionate advocate that is there at every public meeting in the Morongo Basin and in the Coachella Valley and in Sacramento. But the woman behind me can be.
Yes.
She has the true convictions of the heart that makes the difference. Parks do not get created by bureaucrats. They get created by the people who love them, the people that live in the community. Pat's that person. So Pat, I tip my hat. That's why I wanted to bring my hat. I tip my hat to you. Because you're the kind of person I want to be when I grow up. So thank you.
Thank all the organizers who work with me. There is no way that this is a one-person job. And so if Susan Lucky Riley started out organizing us, we are continually organizing, still working in the same direction to protect our desert. So everybody beware, you're going to be called on.